All right, guys, back on Southeastern 16 with Max Barr. An hour later after the previous live stream, we're here. SEC basketball, prime time. Your favorite stream of the day, as always. This is where we have a bit more fun. We recap everything from the day, and yes, as we noted in the title, we mentioned it on the last live stream. Second time this week, gut bracket. Max and I are filling out every single game in a mock NCAA tournament bracket to give you our Final Four picks, our upsets, and our national champion. Earlier in the week, Max and I crowned Auburn and Houston as national champions. We'll see who we crown this week, Max, on the Saturday primetime reaction show.
There's nothing better than filling out a bracket on February 22nd. There's just nothing like it. You know what's better than filling out brackets on February 27th? Getting your first SEC win. Which I hope they do.
I'm not saying it yet. There's a 12-point game with 3:46 to go. South Carolina just missed a free throw. Let's not put the jinx on the team that really needs their first win here. But remember, I did say in one of the streams today, I said, Texas is a team I feel like is starting to move off the bubble. Well, little did I know, maybe they're starting to move off the bubble in the other way because this is not a game you want to lose here. But obviously, we're going to touch on South Carolina, Texas when it goes final. We are going to touch on Arkansas getting a big win over the Missouri Tigers. We also will go back and discuss a couple of things from earlier. Mississippi State loses at Oklahoma. Ole Miss loses at Vanderbilt. What does that mean for the Commodores and the Sooners in the bracket picture? We'll talk all about that here as well. So, all right, let's start with Arkansas and Missouri. I know a lot of people jumping in for that one. Yes, no Josh Gray in this game. I think, Max, we were talking about it before. We knew it was going to have an impact on a game like this. We always say Josh Gray's not playing 30 minutes a game, but what he brings to the table in a couple different areas are important in some of these kind of games. And you look at it from this standpoint, I mean, there were certainly, a couple main storylines here. As usual, you just sort of look at now the balanced scoring that Arkansas is getting, and it's pretty remarkable, isn't it? Big Z finishes with 20. Johnell Davis, another good game here, 18 points. DJ Wagner with 17. Karter Knox with 14. Adou Thiero with 11. These guys have just, they've figured it out, haven't they, when it comes to whatever rhythm it is they found on the offensive end of the floor, getting different contributions from all these guys now. I think another story from the Missouri standpoint, they got a lot of extra opportunity. 17 offensive rebounds in this game. But, man, in the second half, they kept logging it, all right? Like, Caleb Grill just could not find a basket in the second half. He finishes 2 of 12 from 3. Missouri goes 12 of 36 from 3, but really just not able to find a rhythm in the second half, it seemed like, for the Tigers for long stretches, and that was kind of the difference in this game.
Yeah, you got the feeling watching that game that if Missouri makes a few more shots, they could have had that one. They could have. 12 of 36 from 3. I know 33% is not horrible, but there was a lot of open looks. I thought that Missouri normally knocks down, but you got to credit Arkansas. You got to credit them for winning a game like this. Missouri has gone into enemy territory multiple times before and come out of there with a win. This time Arkansas holds their own. You get a group effort. Thought Karter Knox played really well. Really, it was the whole starting lineup. And even down the stretch there, I know Brazil has not been as good as we thought he was going to be. I know. Everybody knows that. But he made some big-time plays there down the stretch when Thiero went out. He did. So I just thought Arkansas needed everyone to chip in, and they did. Blake, on our power rankings, when I ranked them 7th, and everyone called me crazy, if everyone's calling you crazy, that's a good thing. It means you're not like everybody else.
Right.
All right. Arkansas has been playing. I'm just joking there, trying to take a little victory lap. Arkansas, what I'm trying to get at, though, is Arkansas has been playing really good basketball. They've been playing like a top 25 team on the numbers when you filter it a little bit, and it shows up. They're tough as nails. They're bigger now. Johnell Davis remember early in the season, he's grabbing his wrist every time he'd hit the floor, Blake. He'd be grabbing his wrist every time there was contacts. Johnell Davis is playing fantastic right now. DJ Wagner's in a really defined role. I think he's playing really well at that. Arkansas is playing the best basketball they've played all year. It's a great time to be peaking. A few other teams in the league are peaking. Florida, get to them and stuff, but Arkansas is a team where we're talking 11 seed play-in game, 10 seed, 8-9 game. If I'm the higher seed that's drawing Arkansas, I am just going, you got to be kidding me. We're drawing one of the hottest teams in college basketball right now.
Yeah, if Arkansas were to get to that 8-9 game, they're probably looking to match up against Duke in the second round if they were to win that first go-around. So it would be interesting from just a pure talent standpoint, especially with the way the Hogs are playing. I'm sure our guy Bart Torvik will have his momentum, whatever you want to call it, in terms of who's playing the best here since a certain period. But, yeah, I think Arkansas still climbing there in terms of the way they played over the past little bit. I keep going back to it. I just think that, like you mentioned, Johnell Davis has been the biggest key, I think, to this turnaround for them, just because I don't think it's a coincidence that they've started playing their best basketball since he's been a lot more consistent, a lot more in a rhythm in this offense, and that has been the difference. But it's also getting the big games you've gotten from Big Z and all these other guys. We've talked about it, right? It seems like everybody in this group has had one of those games since they've started making this run. And, there was a DJ Wagner game. There's been a lot of Adou Thiero games, and we talked about all these other guys. So I feel like, it's just the same story with Arkansas right now. I don't know why anyone would want to play them just because of, again, the way they've been performing overall. And so, we mentioned too, like not just in this game here where, put up 92 points against a team like Missouri that we always say is going to really disrupt what you like to do from an offensive standpoint. Arkansas turns it over 16 times here, still puts up 92 because, Missouri turned it over 18 times in this game. Like we said, really couldn't buy a three in the second half, especially Caleb Grill. So it was kind of the, some of the opposite things that have helped Missouri get to this point. They uncharacteristically turn it over a bit much and then just can't make some of those shots that we've seen them make a lot here. So a 92-85 result. Great win for Arkansas, like we said. I mean, they would, I don't want to say safely, but I think they'd be in the tournament if it was played today. Based on that win, I think that gives them, like you said, a bump up for sure in terms of that, maybe getting out of that last four in type range. Maybe they're in that last four buys, something like that now. But yeah, that's kind of the way it works out. So James, I don't know what you heard on me saying that Arkansas can beat Duke. I just said if they were in the 8-9, they would match up against Duke because guess what? They're not going to match up against any of the other number one seeds because those teams are going to be SEC teams. You're going to have three SEC teams in the number one spot, so they're going to have to play Duke in that potential matchup later unless there's just something weird in terms of how they have to do it. So, okay. So maybe you're reading the chat, James. Okay. Well, listen, as we know, the chat can be another story here. I appreciate you, James, as always, for jumping in. James, a regular here on the Southeastern 16 live streams. There you go.
Lenardi, before this game, Lenardi had Arkansas on the last four in. So this definitely moves them out of that. They're either in the last four buys or they're locked into a seed.
Well, I can explain this here too. You're saying, asking me, Blake, they have 16 wins and still under 500 in the SEC. Can I explain my reasonings? Absolutely. Being 500 in the SEC does not matter at all. Multiple SEC teams in recent years have gotten in at 8-10. There will likely be multiple SEC teams this year that get in at 7-11. Why? Because strength-wise, the SEC, I'm not just talking about Lenardi's bracket. Like, everybody is saying this. It's strength-wise, this is the toughest league we've ever seen in a single season. So we always say the same thing. You have to field 68 teams. Give me the teams that are going to replace these SEC teams who have subpar records in conference play. Would you rather take an SMU who I still cannot figure out for the life of me how SMU is on the bubble? Someone has to explain this to me. I have no idea. Their best win on the season is a 16-11 Pitt team. Their second best win is LSU, who is 3-11 in the SEC right now. That's it. They've just beaten up on some bad teams in the ACC. So you have to field 68 teams. You're going to take the teams from the SEC, one of the strongest league we've ever seen statistically. You're going to take those teams over the other bubble teams right now. So even if they have a conference record that, yes, is not what we're used to seeing for NCAA tournament teams, you have to get that many teams in the tournament. There has to be 68 at the end of the day on that Sunday. And so that's why you're going to see these kind of teams with losing records this year get in, just because it's not just what you do in conference play. It's your full body of work. And so even some of those non-conference wins that probably don't look that great from a strength standpoint, you're still going to look at and say those end up meaning something on your overall resume. So,
yeah, if it ended today, they'd be in for sure. Especially with that win, you lock that in. And some teams on the bubble today also got blasted, like they're off the bubble now. So that's the thing though. Also here is it's game by game. I mean, Arkansas grabs a 7-point home win against number 15 Mizzou. That's massive in a game by game basis. Where look at the other teams on the bubble. How many home games do they have against a number 15 team? They don't.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we keep saying. It's just and that's TaylorMade brings it up. We don't knock Duke, but it's just when you compare the schedules, and that's where we get into like tournament play in conference tournaments, right? If you're Arkansas, you're still going to have great wins available. If you're Georgia, Texas, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, there are still potential great wins available. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what it comes down to. Compared to like the ACC and all these other teams, just aren't going to have those number of wins sitting there for them. So it's a big win for Arkansas, no doubt about it.
We missed a super chat here from Zach. He's been hanging out with us all day. Mizzou-Arkansas game took so long. Well, shocker. It
was a long one.
It was. It took 7 minutes out of BYU Arizona. These time slots are an issue, especially if listen, Zach, if you could only see Blake and I's text threads sometimes with when we're trying to figure out when we're going to be going live, and we're like, okay, this game starts at 8, but it's these two teams playing, so we got to plan for 3 hours. It's a headache.
Yeah. Max and I'm pretty sure before this game tonight said, we're going to have an early night. Well, we started probably 20, 30 minutes later than we thought we would, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Yep. So, all right. So I know someone was asking a question for dark horse teams in the Final Four. We're going to get to that when we do our gut bracket. Don't worry. We still got to do that tonight. But also, that's a great question. Blake or Max, can you give the refs letter grading for the Missouri-Arkansas game? Sure, F. That's what you all want to hear. Like, we're always going to just give them Fs, right? We have fun with that thread because every stream we've done today,
everyone.
And we get it. We get it. So we've never been known to have lots of positivity on the officiating necessarily here. So
I think
there you go. It's
like on an 8-game slate, you'd put the line at like 1.5 for well-refed games. I think we had one today.
It's just funny. We
A&M earlier was nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is kind of interesting, isn't it? So, all right, Max, you think it's okay for me to tweet out the official standings update with a 14-point lead for South Carolina with 1:20 to go? Or do you think I'm about to put the jinx of all jinxes on the South Carolina Gamecocks?
You can tweet it out.
All right. Just to make sure here, because you just never know, right? It's a team that hasn't won a game yet, and boy, if I put this on them, South Carolina fans may revolt. So I'm going to give it until the 1 minute mark, and then we'll go from there. But all right, so coming out of this, as we said, the remaining schedules quickly. We always bring those up for these teams. Arkansas hosts Texas on Wednesday, which boy, the Longhorns in a bit of a tough spot here. That's a big game for bubble purposes. At South Carolina next Saturday. Don't look now. Gamecocks getting hot at home. And then at Vanderbilt. Very bubble-licious games coming up for the Arkansas Razorbacks here. And then they finish at home against Mississippi State. So that's significant for them. Missouri, meanwhile, they host South Carolina on Tuesday. So the Gamecocks come in a little confidence. Then they go to Vanderbilt. So like we're seeing kind of the common teams here. Then Missouri goes to Oklahoma, home against Kentucky. Kind of a tricky finish for Missouri when you look at a couple of those road games against the desperate sort of bubble teams. So that's something worth noting there, Max, with those two moving forward.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Arkansas does in the SEC tournament after the push of this, the push through February, early March to get in, right? It's like a blitz. Every game is all or nothing for the Hogs. So I'll be interested to see, like, how are the legs? How are the legs come March after because I think going back to like February 1st, really going back to February 1st with that game at Rupp, every game since then has just been intense as it can get. I've had a lot of fun watching Arkansas games. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoy watching them right now. Fun team to watch.
Yeah. All right. By the way, Mother Carol off the top rope here in a second. We're going to get to her comment from a minute ago. But Matt updating the chat. He's unsubscribed. I have no idea why Matt's unsubscribed, but I think that's like the 14th time this year he's done it. So somehow he just keeps coming back. So, all right. Let's Yes, that's how it works. That's all right. We love Matt here. Matt's just he's a legend. Like Matt's just always a lot of fun. I mean, we haven't talked about Kentucky yet, have we, Matt? You talked about it earlier in the stream. So we had plenty of Kentucky chat earlier in the Alabama reaction one. But all right. So now Max again, I think coming out of this big win for Arkansas, Missouri, okay. But elsewhere, let's talk about South Carolina getting their first win. Max, you can take your victory lap again on the Gamecocks here.
It's going to be awesome to move on from this year and look back and say that I picked the game that South Carolina won.
Yeah, you did.
It's a historic moment. No, let's not joke around here. The Gamecocks needed one. They needed to get on the board. Collin Murray-Boyles. Okay, here's what I want to ask you, because I was thinking about this the other night as I was making my
Matt, $2 super chat. Is this how you Yes, Matt, it is.
Keep
trying. Keep trying to unsubscribe by sending us money. I think it's a great idea. So, all right.
Because we'll talk Texas and their situation now, but with Collin Murray-Boyles, because the other night I was going through and I was doing my SEC awards, like if they ended today, first team, second team, all that, and I was wondering to myself, like, where do you put Collin Murray-Boyles? Because the team's success has not followed his individual success. He has been unbelievable, double machine on a team that just has nothing on the perimeter to take the pressure away from him. He still performs every day. What are you feeling, Blake, with like what team he should be on, what award he should get, something like that? Because I was really personally having a hard time figuring out, where do I put Collin Murray-Boyles on these postseason awards? Because he's got to get one. He's got to.
Yeah, he's got to be on there somewhere. And that's where, like, we joke around about the SEC going from 9, it feels like, on every team to 5 this year, which we appreciate. We appreciate Garth putting in the work to get it to 5. But he's got to be on there, right? He's done too much this season. And I think that's where, like, if it's an individual award. Like, we can say, well, he played on a team that didn't win a lot of games, but that can't just be the excuse to leave a guy off there that's had the season he's had. So he's going to be on there somewhere. But like you said, is it a second team? Is it a third team? Like, how does that work out? But yeah, he's going to be on there somewhere. I don't think there's any question about that. So
yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going crazy.
No,
but for Texas now, Blake, things get a little bit more testy than they looked maybe 3-4 weeks ago after you're coming off of back-to-back wins against Mizzou and A&M. Much different tone around the Longhorns now.
Let's see. So I think Texas had been out of that last 4 in, at least for Lenardi. I don't know where they were. I guess we could look at bracket matrix real quick to see I think they had moved out of that zone a little bit. Let's see. So bracket matrix, they were So they were the last 10 seed as a bracket matrix. And again, remember, these were all updated different times, but they seem pretty today. They were pretty updated, as of yesterday for a lot of the top brackets. So the last 10 seed. So that's going to drop them, into that seemingly last 4 in, right? You say that. It's like that's where we start to ask the questions, right? Is Vanderbilt jumping them now? Is Oklahoma jumping them now? Is Arkansas jumping them now? Because none of those teams have that South Carolina loss. And so, I don't know. Because that's we said the big thing the big thing with Texas is that their non-conference schedule, they got nothing from it.
Right.
And so that's where, as you look at now the wins they have and you're trying to compare them to all these other bubble teams, I'm still taking them over SMU. There's no question about that. But if you start looking at everybody else that's around them, especially in their own conference, then you have to start comparing. They've got the nice win against Missouri at home. They got the nice win against Texas A&M at home. Got the nice win against Kentucky at home. So those are good wins, but that's about it right now. And they now have, again, in the context of this isn't a bad loss historically because South Carolina's not in the 200s or anything like that in the metrics. They're still in the top 90 or something, I think, in the net and all that. But it's a bad loss this time of year to have a loss like that on the road. So,
man, it's a tough resume to grade because of that non-conference. Really makes it tough. It's much different than the rest of the SEC teams on the bubble. Oh, we are far behind on super chats here, Blake. I'm sorry about this.
Yeah, sorry. We're gonna get caught up here in just a second. I'm gonna also try to pull up the tournament bracket as it stands right now. I just tweet that out. The updated SEC tournament bracket. We're gonna get to all this kind of stuff. All right, let's get to super chats though, real quick. Okay, I don't even know where to start. This is why you guys are the best. We don't even know where to start. Okay, go back to Josh. $9.99. Watched a lot of college basketball this year, and I think Auburn fouling is going to cost him in the tournament. They literally don't play defense, and they pray the refs don't call 50 fouls on them. Oh, Josh, come on.
Get him, Josh. Get him.
We have brought up the fouls. If there is something you want to point out with Auburn, they are in the 250s, I think, still in fouls per game. So you never know. It's a one-game survive and advance setting. Could that be something where you get the wrong group of officials and they just are calling a lot of fouls? Perhaps. But we'll see. Okay.
Auburn's worst rank on KenPom out of every single category is their defensive foul rate.
Yeah. So depends on the matchup, I suppose. If you get teams that are driving a lot, trying to shoot free throws, game's called a little tight, maybe. Optimistic Rattlesnake, $5 here. Everybody's just going after the Tigers tonight. Can think of about 5 teams that are better than Auburn. Going Florida, St. John's, Maryland, Michigan State, Duke, and maybe even Marquette. All right, I can't agree with that list. I can't. You may be optimistic, Mr. Rattlesnake. I'm not that optimistic of that being the list, okay? We'll see about that. All right? Okay. $9.99 from Timmy. Worst performance of the year for Missouri. Sloppy basketball the whole game. Arkansas tried to give us that game so many times. Still a 7-point road loss. Tough. Yeah, I get it. And I think that's where we talked about. Yeah. If you hit shots you normally hit and you don't turn the ball over that much, which they don't normally do. But I think, Max, we talked about it too. Arkansas's defense, man, they've been underrated all year. And I know Missouri still scored 85, but I think, some of the turnovers were forced, some were unforced, but I think it's one where my opinion on Missouri doesn't really change coming out of this game. I think they're fine. Caleb Grill just had a cold second half, and they didn't have Josh Gray. So
if you're a Mizzou fan, you're coming away from that game thinking we could have won. And I think that's why it stings a little bit. I think that was a winnable game for Mizzou. Had the shots didn't fall. Happens.
All right. Let's see what else we got to. Mother Carol, $20 super chat. Look at Mother Carol. She's tremendous.
Mother Carol.
For the South Carolina fans, been pulling for them all year. Would love for them to make a run in the SEC tournament. You see, there's a difference between Mother Carol and the rest of the chat here at times. Mother Carol truly is the optimistic rattlesnake of the group, Mr. Optimistic Rattlesnake. But we always appreciate Mother Carol pulling for the other teams as well. So, yes, Mother Carol is the coolest. So
you know who agrees with Mother Carol? And it's funny because these comments are right next to each other. Cannon here. Revenge tour starts now.
Oh, yeah.
South Carolina's going to win out the rest of the season. They're not losing. Making a run.
Good. Hey, Big Gator EJ. Father Lamont's got a big smile. Good, as he should. I'm telling you,
Nice.
Father Lamont Parrot's not a bad coach, folks. It's just
He deserves
this is the league. All right? This is the league this year, and we said it. If you're a team that feels like you're just a player away, like think about historically where this season's going to rank, right? I mean, it's tough. It's been a tough season, but they've been so close. We thought they would get somebody. Max made the pick. That's when you knew. When Max was going out on a limb and picking the Gamecocks, you knew it. Brian's got South Carolina winning the whole thing. So, good.
Can we get a write-in for the gut bracket? Can we write in a team?
Yeah, Lamont Paris, he's first-class dude. Yeah, don't let anybody tell you any different. He's great. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see what else we got here. We got more to catch up on. Let's see. All right, Josh is going 9-9 here, saying he's going to fade the Tigers. In the Auburn Tigers, that is, in the tournament. We'll see. Are we going to fade them in our gut bracket coming up in about 10 minutes or so? We'll find out if we're going to fade the Auburn Tigers. I didn't earlier in the week. In the gut bracket earlier in the week, I had them winning the whole thing. Let's see where they're at tonight in this particular bracket. So, but there you go. Wait a second. I saw you just... Okay. Let's get this. Okay. So let's get this update. So I had no idea about this. So Skylar jumps in with the update that saw Matt and Peanut get tossed from the field of 68 the other night. Is Matt getting thrown out of chats elsewhere?
What
on
are
YouTube?
You guys doing?
What are you doing? Oh my goodness.
Causing a scene.
You guys decide to come in here because you get banned everywhere else. Is that how it works? You think we're just going to let you guys do whatever you want? I mean, we kind of do sometimes, but as long as you have fun with it.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
that was a good laugh.
Just tremendous. Matt,
you guys are the best.
So, all right. Let's continue on. I don't even know where we're at. We get thrown off. You know what? It's a nice time for a quick reset. We're talking about brackets. We're going to get to those in a minute. Let's just let's tell you about bracket bids while we're at it. How about that? Get you in the bracket mood. Gut bracket coming up in T-minus 10 minutes. If you got to go to the bathroom, whatever you got to do it now because you don't want to miss the gut bracket coming up here on the channel. And you don't want to miss filling out a bracket in March. And you can take that experience to the next level with our friends at Bracket Bids. Enter into that free pick'em contest or start the auction draft league with your friends, family, or coworkers. Maybe we're all three to you. Maybe we're friends, maybe we're family, maybe we're also coworkers. Although technically it's probably only two of those because we don't really work with any of you at the moment. But you never know. I mean, listen, you pay us enough, maybe we'll let you join the staff in Super Chats. Everyone starts with the same bidding dollars. It's up to you to outwit and outbid your league mates to secure the teams you think will go the distance. Choose from the multiple scoring models, including the upset bonuses to reward the bold picks. Max Barr would have got a little bonus for that South Carolina pick, I'll tell you that. Track your teams with live in-game scoring. Watch the standings shift in real time. Further they advance, the higher you climb in the standings for league play. Use that promo code SE16 for 40% off. SE16 for 40% off. Download the Bracket Bids app today or visit them at bracketbids.com. All right. Next up. Let's quickly run through the games from earlier that we've not talked about today, and then we're getting to the gut bracket. That's why you're here. All right. Let's go all the way back to what's known now, as someone said earlier in the chat, as the Duke Miles teeth game. Oklahoma 93, Mississippi State 87. The Sooners back on the right side of the bubble with a 93-87 victory. About a couple high-scoring games there today, huh? But yes, the Duke Miles tooth thing was just one of the wildest things I've ever seen. 27 points for Jeremiah Fears. Moore had 18. Godwin had 17. Thought Kobe Elvis, Max, I'm trying to think all the way back. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in this game. He hit some threes off the bench. And, yeah, I mean, this was the kind of game we said that Oklahoma, if you wanted to have a shot down the stretch here, you had to win this one. This was one that you circled that you knew was a must-win. They got it. Got to the free throw line 34 times in this game. Mississippi State just didn't make shots. I think that was part. I mean, they scored 87 points, but they just could not kind of keep pace, making shots at the same level that Oklahoma was. Oklahoma ends up shooting 53% from the field. 11 of 26 from 3. So big win for the Sooners earlier today.
Oh, huge win. Duke Miles might have a statue built for him at the Bully Ball Committee headquarters for shattering his teeth and then coming back in the game and closing it out.
Oh, man.
I've never seen anything like that.
Be honest. Be honest. How many of you people in the chat, if you shattered your teeth in the middle of a sporting game, how many would come back into the game? Show of hands. Okay? All right. Continue, Max.
Just like a week or two ago, Dayton Forsythe, one of my favorite players, gets his an eyebrow cut, bashing heads, and he's out there with a black eye, his eyes swollen shut with a bandage on. You got Duke Miles with no front teeth. The staff is trying to pick up his shattered teeth on the court, and he goes, "Get me back in there. Get me back in there."
Imagine being that guy. Hey, I know you were over there doing something else, but you got to go pick up some teeth. There's some teeth on the floor. Grab a cup. Oh, man. No thanks.
Just tough as nails.
Hockey players.
Respect. Yes.
You wonder why I'm wearing this? Why I'm wearing the Toronto Blue Jays, to get a little Canada flag here on the show. That's why. We're supporting because Duke Miles out there playing hockey today.
Yes. But to focus on the game, this is how, when Oklahoma beats good teams, this is how they beat them. They don't stop them. They just outscore them. That's how Oklahoma does it. That's how they do it. Look at the big wins. The big Vandy win, 97. Mississippi State just now, 93. They did squeeze one out at Arkansas, but I'm thinking back to the non-conference too, that Michigan game, 87-86. It's like their big wins are when their offense is just clicking. Jeremiah Fears, I admittedly have been on him for his assist to turnover ratio. It has not been good the past few games. Best game of the year for Jeremiah Fears. 10 assists, only 3 turnovers. Incredible. He hadn't had more than his past 4 games, guys. I'm going to list his assists off the past 4 games. 2, 1, 1, 1. He just had 10 assists for 3 turnovers. He has not been playing like that. It was his best game distributing the rock, and it was his SEC high in scoring. That was Fears' best game. Got it done when they needed it.
Yep, and I think that's been the story for them all season, right? It's just, when Fears gets going, like they look a little different out there. Like, they can be a team. They can win games like this. And we said it, too, for Mississippi State. They had kind of been the road warriors recently. They had won a lot of these games that were close, and you felt like they were going to find a way to have a chance to win that game. But credit to Oklahoma, because we talked about, right, like one of the talking points all week was about has the fan base kind of just given up? And they're going to be kind of a point of no return here for Porter Moser, and we don't know how this is going to finish, because if they have if they finish 4-14 or something like that, which, by the way, I suppose is still possible, they got to play Kentucky, Ole Miss, Missouri, and Texas left. So those are tough games. Kentucky and Missouri at home, at Ole Miss, at Texas. But still, that's the kind of win that, like we said, now you're back in the thick of things, and now we're kind of, in a situation where it's the same as everybody else. They just need to keep winning games. And I think, again, we look at it from their standpoint and feel like, all right, we're kind of in a spot now where they have plenty of opportunity remaining. They just got to find a way to win a couple of these. Like, they can't probably just win one and be okay. They've got to at least win a couple more of these, maybe 3. I don't know what that number looks like right now for Oklahoma. But it all depends on the rest of the bubble too, right? So always keep that in mind. And now, Max, we talked about this. Let me pull up the bracket real quick. So
yeah.
Don't worry, we're not to the gut bracket yet. We're almost there. But let's pull up the SEC tournament bracket as it stands right now. I did just update it on Twitter. Let's take a look at it. And, of course, remember, as always, there's a chance I got this wrong. But we're going to just hope I didn't. So it's always a good vote of confidence there, Max. I don't know if I can make this any larger. There may be a way, actually, if I can just pull up the graphic.
Click on the photo.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. So here's what it looks like now. Mississippi State would be the 9, South Carolina 16, Texas and Georgia as the 12-13, Arkansas, Oklahoma as the 11-14. It doesn't get much better than that on a Wednesday in the SEC tournament because those are 4 of the 5 bubble teams right now, and they're playing each other. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt's trying to avoid a loss against LSU, which would hurt them, but that's what we said, Max. When you get these games now on a Wednesday in the SEC tournament, you have a situation where these are games that can put you now into the tournament, whereas previous years it's like, oh boy, you can't lose those. You can't lose those games. Now it's like, you beat, if you're for Texas and you beat a Georgia, maybe that puts you in. Arkansas, Oklahoma could be an elimination game, right? All these different things that could play out. So it's a lot of fun to look at this particular setup as it stands right now. It's going to change a lot over the next couple of weeks, but you're going to have some of these bubble teams like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Georgia, Vanderbilt. They're going to be matched up somewhere. You're probably getting 2 of these 4 teams, two combinations somewhere of those 5 teams. So.
Man, and those 5, 6, 7, 8 is just like such a toss up. But I mean, I'm trying to think because I was thinking 11 or 14 you might want to be 10 or 15 more than you want to be 11 or 14 with the way that Missouri and Ole Miss are trending in different directions right now. All those little things, you'd rather be the 11 than be the 10. Based on this, but that all gets so intricate.
Well, and we can just go ahead and we can tie in the Vanderbilt game too. We didn't talk about that earlier, did we? I think we didn't mention that. So let's tie in Vanderbilt because they got a big win too against Ole Miss. And like we said, Vanderbilt kind of has stayed in this 10 spot just based on the overall standings because right now for the Commodores, they are 6-8, so they still stay a game ahead of an Arkansas and Texas who are sitting there at 5-9. Arkansas holds the tiebreaker over Texas at the moment. But, for the Commodores, they're kind of sitting here in that spot now by beating Ole Miss, who I don't think Ole Miss shifted at all out of this. They're going to stay the 7 with the loss. So setting up potential Vanderbilt Ole Miss game again in the second round. Then, of course, the winner's got to play Florida. Good luck with that. But we'll get back to kind of the overall look at the bracket and everything. But that's a huge win for Vanderbilt. Ole Miss made a run there to take the lead, and you're wondering, this could be the kind of game where you lose this one, your opportunities are running out. But it was a must-win for Vanderbilt. Now they're back on the right side of the bubble, probably. So, yeah.
It's so game by game. It's crazy how one win by 5 points or one loss by 5 points, literally 2 possessions in a game right now, could be the difference between making the NCAA tournament and missing it for a lot of these teams. Huge win by Vanderbilt. What did we say at the very beginning of SEC play? It's going to be about, can you defend home court, right? And out of the bubble teams, Vandy has just done a fantastic job at playing their hearts out at home. They did drop 2, right? They dropped Mississippi State and Auburn, but you're beating Ole Miss, Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, all at home. Those are games in the preseason. If we were trying to project a way that Vandy could get to 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins to get into the tournament, we would be going down and we would finish and we'd be like, man, they got to win those big home games because those are going to be the big ones. And they are. They're doing what they got to do, Blake.
Yep. And that's, again, what it comes down to. Right now, it's just win, baby. That's what it's about. And I thought, like we said, that this was a team that they've been in some of these kind of, tough situations this year, and you've seen them respond pretty well. And I thought as that game got to the point where Ole Miss takes the lead there with 5 minutes to go or something like that, I'm thinking, it's like, what's going to happen here? Because Vanderbilt got off to such a good start. They're up 19, all that, and you're thinking, man, is this where you just let it slip away? But you had big plays from a lot of different guys. I thought there was a couple big defensive plays in this game down the stretch, too, for Vanderbilt. And that's what we talk about. Just, these were the 2 teams we mentioned, not mirror images of each other, but kind of with the turnover themes on both sides of the court and all those things. I think I keep thinking about Vanderbilt in like a tournament setting. We're going to see where Rocco has them. Because are we going to advance Vanderbilt in the bracket when we get to the gut bracket here shortly? Because I still think there's a lot of things about this team you're going to look at and feel like I can see that team winning 2 tournament games and getting to a Sweet 16, even if they're in Dayton or something. I don't know. There is that something, and I think it goes back to what we always say. Like, I think when the pressure gets on, I do think they do such a good job of executing their game plan, running their offense, and getting the shots that they want. Not saying they're always going to hit them, but I think that's one of the strengths of this team is they always seem to handle the pressure pretty well. And when the pressure was on here, where you feel like the game swung in Ole Miss's favor, it was Vanderbilt making the big plays, and they sort of thrived on that down the stretch, I thought. So.
And the other reason why, personally, why I like them in a tournament setting is because they got those guards that can just – it's a half-court game. It's slow. You just need one guard to just go find some space, rise up, and knock down a shot. They've got multiple. It's a scrappy team that would be good in a tournament setting. But, Blake, this may be a hot take to some. I had mentioned that I've started doing my SEC awards, starting to get ready for the end of season awards.
Oh, yeah.
The last spot on my 5-team all-defensive team, I was torn between Solo Washington and Chris Magnon of Vandy. You watch a full Vandy game, and you pay attention to Chris Magnon. He's incredible on defense.
Oh, yeah.
He is locked down. I'm probably right now, especially after that game, 4 steals. 4 out of the 9 team steals were Chris Magnon. I would probably, if the season ended today, I'd probably have Chris Magnon on my all-defensive team, which is just incredible.
Yep. I think so. But yeah, I think the Commodores, we're going to see. We talk about upcoming schedules. Like we said, they don't have the easiest. They got to go to A&M, home against Missouri, home against Arkansas, at Georgia. So you've got a couple of those bubble games against Arkansas and Georgia to finish the season. Who knows what that looks like, right? You've got to think those are going to be big games for all those teams that last week of the regular season when Vanderbilt's playing Arkansas and Georgia. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this is just the situation now for them. But I think what they have going for them, like I said, they have 6 conference wins. I know that doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things in terms of your conference record doesn't matter. But as we talk about, Max, it is something you're just trying to add the wins here. And I think now getting one more, I feel like, will put them in a great spot because if you lose at A&M, that's not going to hurt you. If you lose at home to Missouri, that's probably not going to hurt you either. And so if they were to beat Arkansas at home, and then they probably do need to win that Georgia game. I don't know. There's something about that game, like we said, you don't want to kind of put yourself in a position where maybe it's down to a Vanderbilt, Georgia, right? And all of a sudden you lose that game. Committee has a little bit of a reason to maybe pick a Georgia, something like that. But we'll see. I think, again, we still have a couple weeks for this to play out with the Commodores. And for Ole Miss, meanwhile, who, we said it, Max, they're just not playing their best basketball right now. Even with those wins at LSU and South Carolina, your welcoming gift in that is to go to Auburn on Wednesday. And then home against Oklahoma, home against Tennessee, at Florida. Brutal finishing stretch for the Rebels, all things considered. So,
man, when we were back in the beginning of the conference season, those 4 first games where they hold Georgia, this is talking about Ole Miss, they hold Georgia to 51, Arkansas to 66, LSU to 65, then go to Bama and win there, and you hold them to 64, and we're going, oh, man, the Mark Adams defense has arrived. This is a top 15 defense in the country. They're rebounding. They've got matchup nightmares everywhere. I don't feel like that right now anymore. I feel like I don't get that lockdown, that pressure, the nonstop turnovers. You feel like you can't pass it farther than the guy that's right next to you because someone might pick it off. I don't feel that intensity right now. I think maybe the Morrell injury is affecting them a little bit more than they're putting on. He might be a little bit more banged up than they're talking about. But yeah, I liked this team a lot more in mid-January than I like them right now.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. A couple of things to clean up here we've got a lot of stuff that we've got to get to.
Man.
I don't even know where we're at in the Super Chats right now. Optimistic Rattlesnake earlier, $2 Super Chat, asked if Maryland's a dark horse. We'll get to them in a second. We'll get to the gut bracket. We'll find out if they're a dark horse. Timmy, $4.99 Super Chat. Want to show some love. Also, the way you guys interact with the viewers is amazing, even if it hurts the wallet in this tough economy. Much love, fellas. Listen, we're not trying to take money out of your pocket. All right, we appreciate you guys. You are part of the show. We don't just want to sit here and act like we know it all. We don't know it all. We just are sitting here talking basketball with you guys. That's what we do. So we're not. You know how we roll around here. So. All right, Skylar, by the way, gave an update on the teeth knocked out thing. Got 2 teeth knocked out during the softball game, and when she was 8, and also continued playing. So there you go. Might be the volleyball team addition there, Max. You know, put Skylar on the watch list.
Skylar Miles.
And look, as Hugh says, it's not like you don't have more. So I mean, come on, right? You got more teeth. Keep playing. Come on, no big deal. Wes Nash Door gifted out 5 Southeastern 16 memberships. Saw some people pick them up. As well. So you know what? Because of that, guess what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking maybe we're just going to gift out 5 right now, too.
Oh, nice.
So we're handing out 5 Southeastern 16 memberships, and guess who just got one? I think Timmy just got one. Logan, Chris, Mason, who else? Michael are all going to get Southeastern 16 memberships. And you know what, Max? I'm just feeling like I'm still in the gifting mood, you know? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to gift out 5 more Southeastern 16
Oh, my
memberships.
gosh.
We're going to go 5 more here right now, and let's see who gets it. Drew gets one. Chris gets one. B gets one. Let's see. Thorpe gets one, and another. I can't read it on this one. But sorry, guys. We also say we cannot pick who gets the memberships. It is a completely randomized thing on YouTube. We don't get to choose who gets the membership. So we do the best we can, but we have no choice in who actually gets them. It's just a randomized thing from YouTube. So there you go. We gifted out some memberships for you guys here. We are able to do that sometimes. So there you have it. Hope you got some, and we'll have more members-only content coming soon here. Almost March. Oh, the member stuff in March is going to be Members March, as we're going to be calling it. Oh, my. It could be fun. So, all right, Max. I have no idea where we're at in the chat. I'm glad you're cleaning it up here because I don't know where we are in some of these.
Here we go. Zach with another super chat here.
What we got? $5 from Zach. Second half Vandy.
Second half Vandy. Yep. Second half Vandy.
Right. That's it.
No more. They squashed it.
Well, squashed it.
Get that out of here now. They've left that. They've left that in the past, Zach.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Brett, Big Baller Brett, you'll never get a membership because you already have one. So get out of here. All right, let's see what else. And yes, you do have to have memberships turned on, as noted in the chat. You do have to have that turned on to get one. So, but again, it's completely random. That we have 800 plus people in here watching on both YouTube and Twitter combined. So you just never know, guys, who's going to get it. Matt just gave out 10 memberships as well. We're gifting out memberships left and right here tonight before the gut bracket. I haven't even got to the gut bracket yet, and we're gifting out memberships like crazy. So shout out to Matt, who, by the way, let's keep this in mind. 22 and a half minutes ago, Matt was unsubscribing from the channel. Somehow in a span of 22 minutes, we have turned the tide to where he's not only not unsubscribing, he's gifting out 10 memberships. Hey, that's what we do here, okay? It's
a long game.
Just give us a little time, Lose the battle to win the war. That's how we look at it around here. So, Elliot says, if I super chat $5,000, do you get a membership? Yes, absolutely. I will contact YouTube immediately to let them know that you are now a member. We will do whatever we have to do to make sure you get a membership. If you super chat $5,000, that's the rule here. That's actually rule number 2, I think, of the entire channel. So look at that. Sarah got in. Boom. Another member.
There we go.
There you have
Gut bracket time. Gut bracket.
Timmy was the one who guilt tripped everyone, I think, into the
nice Timmy.
The giving season here. All right. Quickly. Gary said I picked against South Carolina. I did. I picked them wrong, Gary. Your guy Max here came through, Gary. I'm picking the Gamecocks. So I know it's been a long season for Gary, but glad his Gamecocks finally able to get the victory. So,
Gary's hanging in.
All right. What else do we have here? All right. I think that's it. Okay. Oh, Matt gave us a $5 super chat. We're not knocking anyone else out there, Matt. Okay. We appreciate your $5 super chat. We're not going to knock anyone else out there. But, yes, we appreciate you. Okay. Now, it's almost that time. It's gut bracket time. But before we get there, we know I'm going to forget if I don't do this now. So we're moving on to the gut bracket. You can be moving on with our friends at Sanders Moving, formerly known as Ted R. Sanders Moving and formerly known as Sanders Logistics. They're here for you 25 hours a day. If that's even possible, I know that they would, if you called them right now, they would probably say, do you want to move right this second? And you would be like, sure. And they're like, we'll be there. Because remember, they've already moved Max Barr twice.
Yeah.
Today, actually. He moved again twice today. So they're the leader among moving companies in Nashville, Tennessee, and the surrounding area. Max wanted to move closer to the Diet Summit Cola headquarters. And Sanders Logistics said, we got you covered. Anytime you need us, let us know. So he called their team of professional movers, which are focused on delivering efficient, hassle-free moving at an affordable price. Max, was it efficient?
It always is. Sorry.
Was it hassle-free?
Headquarters of Summit is.
Was it hassle-free, Max?
Always.
Was it affordable?
I didn't have to pay anything.
Didn't pay a dime. That's probably not good for their business, and he probably owes them something. But whether you're moving across town or across the country, Sanders Moving has you covered. Visit them at tedrsandersmoving.com. Folks, it's not free. You got to pay something. But don't be Max. You actually have to pay our friends at Sanders Moving, but they'll give you a great deal on affordable prices, we know. So, all right. Are you ready, Max?
Let's do this.
Here we go.
Come on.
Gut bracket time. We filled that one earlier in the week.
Best time.
Now it's time. Now it's time. This time around, we're going to go to, actually, our friend Rocco Miller. Love Rocco. Yes, he does stuff for the field of 68. You guys over there knocking him. But here we go. Now, Rocco's bracket, I don't know if, Max, I can actually pull this up the way that I did the previous one, because it's going to be, I think it's like, I don't know how to say it. It's not fitting the screen the same way, so I wonder if there's a way we can do this. I might let you see if there's a better way to try to pull this up. Do you want me to send you the link?
Okay. Yeah, send me a link and I'll pull her up.
Let me send you the link here, and we'll see if you can get this pulled up, and I will stall like we always try to find a way to do here. But yeah, we're gonna see how we can pull this up on the screen so you guys can read it, the entire thing. So you see what I'm saying here on this?
Yeah.
But, it's okay. We can just move down if we need to. We can just move it down the screen. So
yeah, I think
fine.
you're just gonna have to share it, and we'll just go one by one.
All right, that's what we'll do. Here we go. Gut bracket time.
Oh boy, I'm nervous. Why am I nervous?
Now let's keep in mind, this bracket was updated on Friday, okay? This is not an official updated bracket as of this second. Don't put that on our guy Rocco. He's doing his job. He updated on Friday. So this was the Friday bracket. We're going to start right here on this side of the bracket here. All right, Max, are you ready? Do you need to drink your Diet Summit Cola, or are you ready to get started?
I'm ready to rumble.
Okay, here we go. All right, we start, Max. I almost X'd out of the tab. That would have been good. Auburn, the number 1 seed versus the 16 seed Bryant.
Auburn.
Creighton, 8-9 versus New Mexico.
Blue Jays.
Creighton. Mississippi State, the 5. George Mason, the 12.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. I got Mississippi State. Purdue, the 4. Akron, the 13.
Born in Akron. Purdue, though.
Oh, wow. I was not born in Purdue, but I'm going to take Purdue. The 6, Clemson versus the 11, VCU or Oklahoma.
Clemson.
I got Clemson too. The 3, Iowa State versus Montana as the 14.
Cyclones.
Give me the Cyclones. All right, the 7, Oregon versus the 10, Baylor.
Baylor?
Man, Oregon is just one of those teams that have just
feel horrible
what
about
a weird body of work they have. It's in Wichita.
5, 4, 3.
I think Baylor's going to have the advantage. I'm going to take Oregon. I'm going to take Oregon. The number 2, Texas A&M versus 15, Central Connecticut.
A&M. Aggies.
All right, give me A&M. Back to the top of the board we go. We're staying in this region. This is how we do it. Auburn versus Creighton.
Auburn.
Give me the Tigers. Purdue versus Mississippi State.
Purdue.
I think I'm picking Purdue too. Clemson versus Iowa State.
Oh, God. You pick first.
Man.
Mm.
I'm going to go Iowa State. I don't love it, but I'm going to go Iowa State.
All right, then I'll go Clemson if you're going Iowa State. I'll switch.
All right. Texas A&M versus Oregon. Oh, my.
God.
Have we already seen that this season? Haven't we already seen that game this season? Didn't they play?
I have to go with the Aggies. I have to.
Oregon beat them by 10 earlier in the season.
I can't not do
Oh, man. That's a brutal one for me. I'm going to pick the Aggies, too. I don't love it, though.
Okay.
All right, top of the board. We got Auburn versus Purdue. Come on, we've seen this once. We've seen this once already. Give me Auburn. We've got Texas A&M versus either Iowa State or Clemson. Oh,
I'm going to go Clemson again.
This is a brutal part of the bracket for me.
This is what the good bracket does to you guys. It tears you down.
It tears your guts. Like, it's just, oh, man. I'm going to go Iowa State. I'm sorry. Okay. The Aggies numbers, they struggle.
Auburn
over whoever. Yeah, I've got Auburn over Iowa State. You have them over Clemson, right? Okay.
Yep.
All right, we both got Auburn in the Final Four.
All right.
Now we move down to the next part. So we do have the potential. The number 1 seed here is Alabama. So keep that in mind here in this one. So, all right. Alabama versus Marist or Southern Marist. Whichever you prefer.
Bad.
Matt, whatever you're doing in the chat is not taking off here. The Louisville versus BYU, the 8-9. There's a way to make this bigger on the screen, but I just can't.
Louisville. Gosh, I have no confidence.
Yeah, I'm going Louisville too, I think.
Okay.
All right. Missouri. Oh, no. Rocco's got it too. We did this earlier in the week. Rocco's got it too. Missouri is the 5. Yale is the 12. In Seattle. Oh.
MIZ.
I know at least 50 people from Seattle who went to Yale. So they're going to have some people there. I'm going Missouri. Number 4, Texas Tech versus number 13, Chattanooga. The Mocs.
Texas Tech. I got to pick an upset here soon.
We got a Yale pick in the chat. You guys have to weigh in with your chat, too. We're growing in numbers right now, so people have definitely tuned in for the gut bracket. So no pressure on us to pick all the SEC teams to advance.
George Mason, upset pick.
I saw that, too, earlier. I got Texas Tech, too, in this one. All right. Memphis, the 6 versus Wake Forest, the 11.
I'm going to go Memphis.
I don't like that game at all. I could see Wake Forest winning that game, but I'm going to go Memphis too. Kentucky is the 3 versus South Alabama is the 14.
Kentucky, and I haven't picked one upset yet. This is disgusting.
Kentucky. Have any of us picked any upsets yet? I don't think so.
No, it's gross. It's gross.
This is disgusting. All right, gut bracket. It's time to get a little spicy. All right? All right. St. Mary's the 7, Drake the 10.
I love Drake, but I love St. Mary's more. So St. Mary's.
Sure. So let's pick the higher seed. I'm going to go St. Mary's too. Wisconsin is the 2. Cleveland State is the 15.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Wisconsin. Wow. Okay. I don't know what we're doing here. I'm picking. Yeah. Okay. Alabama versus Louisville. Now that's a game right there.
That is a game. Alabama.
Missouri versus Texas Tech.
MIZ.
Give me the Tigers. Kentucky versus Memphis. That's an easy one for me. Easy choice.
Kentucky.
I think this is a great draw for the Cats. If this was their part of the bracket, I think they should be thrilled. Give me Kentucky. Wisconsin versus St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. There it is. There's the first punch of the gut bracket. There it is. Man. Give me the Gales.
You know what? I've already got something in motion here. Give me Wisconsin. You're going to see why in just a second.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Alabama versus Missouri. Do we both have that?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
We just saw it.
Wow. We did just see it.
Come on.
MIZ.
Give me Missouri. You know why? Because we're going to go to the bottom of the bracket here. I got Wisconsin, Kentucky. I love the Kentucky fans right now. But if you're telling me I got the opportunity for the John Tonje Bowl in the Elite Eight with Missouri versus Wisconsin, what a setup that would be, right? What a setup that would be. Big Baller Brett has unsubscribed.
Gut bracket will do it to you.
Tremendous.
So you have Wisconsin beating Kentucky?
Here's my caveat, okay? It's the gut bracket, but I do get a caveat on this. If Kentucky is at full strength, I'm picking Kentucky. If Kentucky is missing multiple players, then I'm picking Wisconsin. That's the rule.
I got
here.
Kentucky against St. Mary's.
Yep.
It's the Gales year. It's the Gales year. Give me the Gales.
Wow. All right.
This is my regional forecast.
I've got Missouri versus Wisconsin if Kentucky is unhealthy. I've got Missouri versus Kentucky if Kentucky is healthy. I got Missouri all the way to the Final Four.
Okay.
And they just lost at Arkansas tonight, by the way, and we just picked them to go to the Final Four.
St. Mary's against Missouri. Yeah, I'm going to go Missouri, too. I'm going to go Missouri.
This is tremendous. Oh, this is tremendous stuff. Yeah, Matt, there's no pride. You lose all pride in the gut bracket. This is why we do it. It's a gut bracket, okay? We are not analyzing anything. We just completely take the first thing that comes off, like, this is where we're at. So Timmy's excited.
Analyzing.
That's all that matters. Okay?
MRZ, Timmy.
There you go.
All
Missouri, who remember, is still a top 5 team in the country over the past month and a half, according to Bart Torvik. So Bart, we're going to go with Bart. This may be the Bart bracket. So Matt's unsubscribed again. 5 minutes later. We're all over the place here. All right, we're going up to the top right. Right now, we have Auburn versus Missouri in the Final Four. Okay.
Yep.
Duke versus Omaha.
Duke.
Give me the Duke Blue Devils. UConn versus West Virginia, the 8-9. Oh, boy, there it is.
Yep, UConn. Every bracketologist just wants to match up UConn
Everybody
and Duke.
Wants UConn and Duke. And I guarantee you, John Shire wants the complete opposite. Give me UConn. Marquette versus either Texas or SMU. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my.
Longhorns.
Okay. By the way, all the Missouri fans checking in here. And then you got Skylar saying, you know what? Missouri ain't making the Final Four. We love it. We love everybody chiming in on the picks here. So there you go. All right. Marquette. Yeah, over either one of those two teams. Michigan or High Point? Michigan State, sorry.
Didn't I pick High Point last time?
I think you did.
We're going to go Michigan State this time.
Yeah, you picked High Point. I picked Michigan State to make the Final Four in my previous gut bracket. Let's see if we get there. All right. Ole Miss or Nebraska?
Ole Miss, but I don't like them right now.
Ole Miss. Arizona or Utah Valley?
Arizona.
I'm going to go Arizona, too. I'm trying to find a big upset somewhere, but I don't think that's it. Although Arizona did lose to Princeton a couple years ago. Illinois versus San Diego State. Oh, boy, this is...
Aztecs.
Give me San Diego State. Yeah. Tennessee versus Towson.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going Tennessee. All right, back to the top we go. Duke versus UConn.
Duke.
Who's going to do it? Duke. They're just better. Michigan State versus Marquette.
I think I have Texas, don't I?
Oh. Did you pick Texas? Oh, sorry.
I think I
forgot.
did.
Okay, you picked Texas.
Michigan
Never
State.
mind.
Michigan State.
All right. Michigan State. Ole Miss or Arizona?
Arizona. I don't feel great. I'm not huge on Arizona. Are you?
No, I'm not. That's why I don't feel good about them picking them to the Sweet 16, but I don't really have a choice here. The Ole Miss thing, we talked about it. They worry me a little bit right now. So I'll pick Arizona too. Tennessee or San Diego State?
Oof, that's going to be an ugly one, but I'll go Tennessee.
By the way, Big Gator EJ is still looking for UCSD. We still got to get to them. I'm going to go Tennessee too. Okay, back to the top. Duke, Michigan State.
Yeah. Dukies.
I'll go Duke too. Arizona, Tennessee.
I have to do Tennessee just out of. I don't think Arizona is all that.
Yeah, I've got Tennessee too. I can't pick Arizona over them right now. Duke and Tennessee. The rematch.
Duke. Is he going to do it?
Man, I sit here and talk junk about Duke and their resume and all this, but if this is their path, I think it sets up okay. So I'll pick Duke. All right, now we go to the bottom here, final part of the bracket. We've got Arizona, Missouri, and Duke. Max and I have not differed on our picks. Or wait a minute, who did I say? Arizona, Auburn, Missouri, and Duke. What am I talking about? It's late. Florida versus SEMO or American? Or American SEMO?
Wait, are you telling me we got to have Florida, St. John's, Kansas?
We got
Houston,
a lot going on down here.
All in this
There's
region?
a lot going on in this region.
Oh, my gosh. All right, I'll start with Florida.
Now, hang on a second here.
Oh.
Hang on a second, okay? Just hold on a minute.
Hey.
Saying the worst bracket you've ever seen. Bracket mids may drop us. Come on now. Come on. It's a gut bracket, okay? It's a gut bracket. Florida, Gonzaga, Utah State.
I got to go Gonzaga.
Give me the Zags. Oh, boy. Florida Zags. Maryland, McNeese. Here we go, baby.
Give me the fighting Will Wades.
I got McNeese. Give me the 12-5 in this one. St. John's and Lipscomb. Ooh.
Tricky, but give me the Johnnies.
That's a tricky first-round matchup. St. Lipscomb runs some good offense. I'm picking St. John's. All right. Kansas, UC, San Diego. Let's do it.
That's Titans. San Diego.
Let's do it. Give me San Diego.
Nice.
If they're in 11 and they're playing Kansas, who's just been so up and down, oh my. Give me San Diego. All right. Michigan, Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State. I'm just feeling wild right now. I'm feeling wild.
Oh my.
Michigan turns it over. They turn it over like at one of the highest rates in Power 5. Jackson State. I don't know. Give me Jack. I haven't picked anything more than a 12.
All right. Hey, it's a gut bracket. I don't get to choose how you play here. Give me San Diego. Or wait. Sorry, wrong one. Michigan.
You want San Diego again?
I'm saying over anybody. Give me Michigan. All right. UCLA, Vanderbilt. Oh, there you go.
Oof. You know I like UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go UCLA. I like UCLA.
I'm going Vanderbilt. Houston or Norfolk State?
Houston by 74,000.
Houston. Okay, back to the top here. Florida and the Zags.
Ooh. That's a fun. That thing's going to be like 103-90. Give me Florida.
I got Florida. What do we have here? McNeese and St. John's.
McNeese against the Johnnies? Johnnies.
Yeah. Going St. John's. UC San Diego and Michigan. I said Michigan.
Jack State.
You've got Jack State. I forgot.
Give me San Diego.
You said something. Michigan turns the ball over a lot, right? Guess who's third in the country in turnovers forced? San Diego.
The Tritons.
Give me San Diego to Indianapolis in the Sweet 16. All right. Houston or Vanderbilt?
Houston by 74 million.
Yeah, I got Houston. All right. Florida and St. John's.
Oh my gosh, that's a good game. I think Florida just shoots it a little bit better. I'm going to go Florida.
Yeah, I'm going to go Florida too. I think Florida wins out. St. John's offense worries me a little bit. Great defensive team, but I'm going to go Florida. All right, now we've got San Diego versus Houston.
the Tritons' run comes to an unfortunate end. Cougars move on.
Yeah, the Tritons. What a year. What a year for that group. Give me the Houston Cougars. Florida and Houston. Big Gator EJ's watching. EJ's watching.
You could torture prisoners of war by making them choose between this game. Oh my gosh.
Big Gator EJ, you're saying no. I'm going to assume this is not the matchup you want. Or you think we're going to pick against them.
Who are you picking?
I'm going with Big Gator EJ. Houston, you have a problem. And it's the Florida Gators and the returning Micah Hand-Logden. Alex Condon's going to be back, baby. Walter Clayton, Elijah Martin. But most of all, your big problem is Tommy H. Thomas Houck is going to be the reason the Gators move on to the Final Four.
I think I just got Tommy H'd. And I don't know what to do about it. I'm going Florida. Give me the Gators.
All right, so we've made it to our Final Four of this ridiculous gut bracket here. We're just going to pull this off the screen because we know who our Final Four is now. All right, so here's where we're at. Auburn and Missouri, Duke and Florida. We have a unanimous Final Four picks here. I did not think we'd get there, but we did. Auburn, Missouri first, Max.
Auburn gets it done.
I'm going to pick Auburn back to the championship game as well. And Big Baller Brett, it's the worst bracket ever. Yes, it's the gut bracket. It's always the worst. Max had Mississippi State in his Final Four in the gut bracket last year.
Yes.
I'm sure I had someone too. So Timmy turned on us very quickly, by the way, when we took Missouri out in the Final Four.
That's great.
All right, we're both picking Auburn. Florida or Duke?
Florida can match up with Duke's size in the front court.
They can.
They can guard the perimeter. Wow, that would just be an absolutely phenomenal game. I really want to see that game now. Wow.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal. Chat's going to hate me. Hate me. I can't. I don't know if I can even say it. The words can't even come out of my mouth. I'm not picking Florida to advance.
Optimistic Rattlesnake. Lots of different puns here talking about the Dukies. But Big Gator EJ says not losing to an ACC team. Mother Carol says Florida because she says so. It's like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mother Carol says so. Give me the Gators in the championship.
Oh my gosh. You got to be kidding me.
Well, come on, you made it easy for me after you picked Duke. You kidding me? This is an SEC channel. You think I'm going to sit here and the gut's going to pick the Duke Blue Devils over Florida? Get out of here.
I just didn't pick Florida. That's all.
National championship, Max. Auburn and Duke, the rematch for you.
Yep.
Who you got?
That's what I was setting it up. That's the rematch. We're not getting 6 threes from a freshman in the first half. Tigers. Natty champs.
Your rematch. Auburn and Duke. My rematch. Auburn and Florida. The first time around, I saw what happened. Tommy Houck, my guy. Tommy H in there making a play again. And we talked about this guy for I don't know how many months now, right? How many months we've been talking about Tommy H. And you're telling me I'm going to pick against Tommy H in a national championship setting? I sit here, got the chat on my side right now, and you think I'm picking against the Florida Gators? You are right, because I'm picking Auburn again to win the gut bracket, just as I did earlier in the week. The rematch.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Robbie. I'm sorry. I know Big Gator EJ's about to chime in. I'm still picking the Tigers. The gut bracket this week has said Auburn multiple times. Big Gator EJ. I'm sorry. I did it again. So, I did it again. There you go. Everyone hates us. We picked Auburn.
That's what the gut bracket will do to you.
It's what it does.
Tear families apart. It'll ruin friendships.
At least Zach got some humor out of this. Look, okay, at least Zach's waiting. He's waiting to get a little humor out of this thing. All right, so there you go.
What was your craziest pick?
Who was Mike? We both had San Diego in the Sweet 16.
The Tritons. We've turned into a part-time Tritons account.
It's tremendous. Yeah. Well, there you go. There's our gut bracket, the second of the week. You know what? The bracketology update's next, I think, on Monday or Tuesday for Lenardi. We're going to do his on Tuesday. We're going to do another gut bracket. We're going to be so... This is going to be the greatest thing just by the time we get done with all these. So, I don't know.
It's the absolute best.
All right, super chats. Well, we're getting out of here now. I told Max we have him out of here by midnight. Actually, I said we get out early, and now it's going to be midnight. So this is what we do to ourselves. But $2 super chat earlier from Matt. SC16 doesn't have a clue. That was at 10:39, so that was 10 minutes ago. So whatever we said, there was something terrible. Optimistic Rattlesnake, $5 super chat. Florida deserves an easy bracket for how good we played all year. Matt, $2 super chat. This one's for Max's mustache. Great. William, longtime enjoyer, $5 super chat. About time you chipped in. We appreciate you, William. And then $5, no better way to finish than this. $5 super chat from Optimistic Rattlesnake. You're speaking like a true bastard, Blake. Well, there you go. That's primetime for you. Primetime reaction. SEC basketball with a little gut bracket thrown into the mix there, Max. So
there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like having the pressure on and you got to fill out the bracket. You got to make a pick.
I can feel this one in my gut. This was one that really, the one we did earlier in the week, it was kind of, whatever. But this one really gets to the gut. It really does. If we had some kind of gut health sponsor, I could really do a great read right now, but we don't. We don't have one. So.
Did I have St. Mary's in the Elite Eight? I think I did.
Man. I think
because you pick an upset at one place and then you pick another team, you don't realize they're gonna meet up and you're like, wait, I can't have them in the Elite Eight. I gotta pick this other. The gut bracket goes where it wants to go.
$2 super chat. Zach wants us to do 2 a week going into March. That's fair. We'll do 2 a week. We'll do one every time on the prime time, and we'll do one during the week, probably on Tuesdays.
We have a gut bracket Tuesdays quota to meet.
The quota. Super chat. Skylar wants to know what day of the SEC tournament are we doing the free throw contest. The work schedule's not looking good. Remember, Skylar's supposed to MC the free throw contest, so we're going to have to check our schedules and see when we're doing that. I'm telling you, guys think I'm joking. I am getting a YMCA somewhere lined up, or we're going to find a goal somewhere. We're doing a free throw shooting contest, me and Max Barr. So get your bets in now on who you think's going to win. But, all right. I think that's it. Oh, wait, there was one from Big Gator EJ I want to pull up real quick. Let's see. Where was it? It was the best comment. Oh, I've got to find it. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, I got it. Oh, wait a minute. It's right up there. It is. Maxwell Barr.
You can't
Sir
do that.
Thomas Houck.
You can't do that to me now.
Will remember your picks. What was it in Game of Thrones? The North never forgets this. One of those didn't forget. Sir Thomas Houck is not going to forget, Max. He's not going to forget what you just did here on this show. So.
And the sad thing is like I don't even have any pushback, and because he does, he knows, and I'm gonna pay for this. Okay, I put myself here. I put myself in this position, Big Gator.
You did it. So there you have it. All right, we're out of here. The gut bracket took a lot out of us. What a day of SEC basketball. We have fun here, in case you haven't heard, and we appreciate you guys for having fun here with us on a Saturday night. Power rankings on Monday. Picks coming up for another big week next week in SEC basketball. Hit that subscribe button if you hadn't already. Turn on your notifications. Don't unsubscribe. Hit that join button. It just means more. Southeastern 16. Check out some members-only stuff we got coming up soon, especially March. It's going to be a big month. So we appreciate you guys, as always, having fun with us with the gut bracket, everything else we do here. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Southeastern 16.